Hey guys, Mr. Gibson here. Now we're going to talk about the exchange rate and fiscal policy, okay? And I've titled this More Crowding Out, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, okay? So let's talk about an economy that is in a recession, okay? So we got this long run aggregate supply curve. We got this short run aggregate, or no, it's aggregate demand, okay? And this short run aggregate supply curve. Okay. We are in an economy where we're below potential output. Okay. The government wants to use its tool in its back pocket, which is to decrease taxes, which will increase consumer spending, or just increase government spending, or both, to increase the output. Okay. Well, we've talked about how that's effective because, yeah, this will increase the aggregate demand line. Okay. And we've also talked about how it's ineffective because of lag, because of politics, because of the money not going to the right places, so on and so forth. But we also talked about this crowding out effect. If you guys remember, here's our loanable funds market. Here's our quantity of loanable funds, real interest rates. This is our um, demand for loanable funds, or our investors versus the supply of loanable funds, which is our savers or the national savings. We have some sort of interest rate. Now, this type of government spending, this expansionary fiscal policy, is okay when we have deficits, if we have surplus spending or balance spending or whatever. But more often than not, especially these days, we have deficit spending. Pardon me, I'll misspelled deficit. There's an extra E in there. We'll look it up later. All right, deficit spending. What happens with deficit spending is that we're having to um, we're having to use some national savings to go into this government largesse. Okay, so the supply of loanable funds decreases. Okay, another way of looking at it is the demand for loanable funds will increase because now the government's demanding loanable funds. Either way is a fine way to analyze it because the effect is the same. The real interest rate will increase. All right. So here's our story again. Real interest rate increases. That makes it less attractive to go borrow money. So interest sensitive spending, especially investment spending, decreases. And that means if investment spending decreases, output has to go down. And if output goes down, that means our AD will come back some. Okay. That's what we mean by crowding out. That, yes, the government wanted to push this AD line to the right, but because of their deficit spending, they've actually pushed it back some to the left. Okay. But the story doesn't end there now because now we have an open economy. And what we also remember about an open economy is this, that if the interest rates increase, well, that means we're going to have a capital inflow because presumably interest rates stay the same in other countries. People with savings in other countries will find it more uh, lucrative or have a higher rate of return to take their money and put it into this country. And because they do that, well, um, it's going to affect our exchange rate. Okay, so let's look at it real quick. So I don't know, we'll go back to euros per dollar. Okay, and then you have a quantity of dollars because we're in the market for dollars. Okay, demand for dollars, supply to dollars. We got this exchange right there. Okay, so demand for dollars will increase because folks want to now have dollars so that they can bring their savings into the United States. Exchange rate increases. So as the exchange rate increases, that means the dollar appreciates. As the dollar appreciates, that means exports decrease because as the dollar appreciates, that means that goods and services in the United States are more expensive relative to other currencies. If exports decrease, net exports decrease, and Y decreases. So, kind of the same effect that you had with the crowding out due to the interest rate increase. Because this interest rate increase, net exports also decrease because that causes the currency to appreciate. So as the currency appreciates, the output goes down even farther. So we have an even greater crowding out effect. So again, theoretically, hopefully, we would have enough tax cuts and enough um, government spending to offset these decreases that are going to happen. But theoretically, these decreases will happen because of this interest rate increase. Uh, Not only will investment spending drop, but the currency will appreciate and exports will fall as well. Okay, so something to keep in mind that this more will cause more crowding out. Okay, thanks for your attention. Bye.